planetary and personal at Mikvah, I call it Lagoon, which is at Nairn Han. Now you can see the film, you can see it's a massive reservoir, which is of course fed by a river the other side of it. Then from the reservoir, there's a little bridge, and it passes through that straight into Nairn Han Bay. But the locals, that is the locals, although there are some Farangs that do this, I for instance have done it, right? There's a little lagoon that is fed by this stream, and it opens up, and at the right time of tide it's still flowing water, but it's very safe. Little kids of 6 and 7 go in there, and their mums and dads go in there, and you can generally tell they're Thai because they wear t-shirts and things. They don't have fancy bikini swimming suits, whatever, rare. And they've been doing this for probably umpteen years. It is physically a very safe environment, but now spiritually it's a supercharged environment. This will be equivalent to Lourdes, but even more powerful. Why? Because Lourdes doesn't feed directly into the sea. So we have here in the Nairn Han Mikvah a most evolved form of mikvah you can get. That doesn't mean there aren't going to be other sites. The land has been owned by a wat for generations, so it's been kept holy, if you like, sacred. By the way, all early wats are blessed, and the land is blessed. They bury, I think it's up to 6, could be more, but large marble balls. It might not be marble, but these balls are carved out of stone, and they are balls, right, round. Right. Here's a bit of tippy. When you go into the wat, which is just, actually, as you come into Nairn Han Beach, it's there. I mean, it's right on the side, and it's right on the side of the reservoir, if you follow me. So it's part of it. The little island in the reservoir is owned, of course, by the wat, and can be leased out. Often motorbike gangs have used it for parties. There is a general no smoking and no alcohol rule on the island all the time, but if you get special permission, you can drink alcohol on the island. You get like a licence, and this is a source of income for the wat. It's also caused great public relations. The angels respect this place because it has been offered freely to them. Well, a personal fee, but so there's a mutual respect. And that's how it can be, my friend, with everybody, right? Mutual respect. You have your way. The angels won't be able to do too much rowdiness, but then I think that's exaggerated, like everything, right? You get a bit feisty and you're having a party, as long as it isn't rape, which it isn't, I assure you, then fine. I've seen a lot worse things going on than people making love on sacred ground. Rare. And as for the alcohol, well, I come from a tradition where any liquid can be blessed and transformed. I'm being sarcastic now. Christianity, the taking of the sacraments, how the wine is changed to blood. Well, the church I was in, we moved and dealt and worked with, should I say, when many people were alcoholics. So the church, and many churches do this who work in that level, we didn't have any alcohol in the premises at all, and we used Ribena with water. It's a symbolic representation, if you like, of Christ's blood. And it is blessed by the priest. Same as the bread, it could often just be bread from our own bakery, not these, mass-produced little round dish things. I suppose that's all right for, you've got all this ritual and, whatever. But we didn't do that. We did bless the bread and the wine. Now, a little story. I'm going to run out of time. I have been baptised into this church, Jesus Fellowship Church, My name from that church is Graham Lifebringer, which was borne witness by the brethren, and there's a few people brought suggestions, and then the elders concluded, and they felt that that name or virtue name was the most appropriate for me. I had ministries of ministries. I've been told I've got the gift of prophecy. I've been told I've got the gift of the cutting word. Right? So this channeling, although it probably is channeling, and it is channeling, but from a Christian standpoint, they would see me if I was dressed in the right garb, and probably not effing and blinding, as bringing the cutting word, which I did do, within the confines of the church. That's what I was given there. And when the Ministry of Ministries came again, people verified that I'd already moved in prophecy. I'd already moved in the cutting word. And then when I did my first ever, it's a special, see it does, whoa, I don't know what's going on here, but it cuts out. I mean, we've got the power. I've checked, I haven't got a virus that every now and then the computer just blacks out. And I've done a scan, but anyway, and I am connected to power. Yes, when the battery runs a bit low, it can do that. Agape. See, it does come. It's all there. And I took my first and only agape. I think Wild Willie came through. Yeah, he's an ancient Scottish king. And they named Wild Willie. He was known to be a bit wild, but the people respected him. And he was a king. Most definitely. Wild Willie. Right. Anyway, I'm doing this agape. And it's purely spirit, and I'm channeling, as I've had been for years, and I've slowly... Well, now it's just natural. Well, it was then, but there was a bit of freak out from people's reactions, really. Anyway, I'm doing this agape. And I open up, I now want to talk about the suffering of Christ. I said, no, not that suffering. I'm talking about the emotional suffering of Christ. So I'm not talking about the physical pain he endured, the nails in the hands and all that stuff, which, not wishing to come across as too flippant, is, sacred. But then, this is my ministry, so bear with it. The mantra that came through regarding this ministry I'm moving in now is, nothing is sacred, which could be interpreted that I can talk about anything and nothing is put on the holy and holies, but all is sacred. So, for a lot of people, I'm irrelevant, disrespectful, idiot, or whatever derogative term they come up with. Couldn't be more wrong. I've got to say that, because if you derogate, if that's the right word, slander, which has happened to me, by the way, slander. Now, to all those in the Moray Association of Mental Health, who currently right at this minute, because I withdrew my presence from your organisation, because I told your membership secretary, point blank, although I felt a bit awkward at doing it, because she said, well, when are you coming back, Graham? I said, sorry, I'm not. And I think it even brought a tear, she either brought a tear to her because you thought, oh, God, this guy's been really upset, He is normally such a giving, compassionate chappy or whatever she thought, and now I'm just saying, I didn't say fuck you, I didn't, but it could be described as that. So, my guides, you can say, well, that's something wrong, well, it doesn't matter, have clearly informed me that I have been misaligned, I've been slandered, heard words you never heard in the Bible, right thing, and wrongly, well, it isn't right, slander. It has been spread around by the Moray Social Work Department, particularly the Mental Health Social Work Department, the Moray Police Department, the Moray Council, the various bodies that work in, shall we say, mental health care, that I was or am a drug dealer. Now, the fiscal and the police they didn't raid my home. I had a fire in my home and I wasn't present. They didn't break the door. That's it. I don't know how they got in. Because the door, when I did come back and I saw what's going on, oh no, they've had to smash the door and, fucking, it wasn't. So, a neighbour who has moved on, who is or was, I hope, a social worker, who did work with single mums, right? Talk about hypocrisy, she was fucking her best friend's husband. Oh, I can say that. Lovely man called Kevin. Just across the road from me. It was general knowledge where you could say, well, that's just gossip, Graham. Yes and no. I mean, I didn't actually personally see her fucking this man, so I can make that clear. But the guidance I'm getting is that she is. But then I have said I'm 97 or something % right. But anyway, this individual and another neighbour, I believe that lives at number 8. We're chatting. Yeah, somehow. I know how. Here's your right. Knew that I was involved in Moray mental health. This is it. It's coming now, and contacted the one person I did give a key just to keep an eye on my premises. Now she was the acting membership secretary of my association mental health. She know what happened, and they, because they live right next door, convinced her to let them have the key to my property. Okay, right. Now this is some backtracking. I came back from a trip, and I hadn't been a fire, but apparently my pipes had burst. Now the plumber who did this to verify this. Apparently the whole of my bedroom was waterlogged and whatever. I think it got slightly exaggerated because I've had an experienced plumber refit a shower in my shower unit. The pipe that was supposed to have been burst but it was just a little slit, and the plumber was brought in to find the stopcock. Yet the original owner of this property still lives just across the road from me. Huh? That's right. They literally moved across the road. Their names, well, she's only alone now, Alan, but anyway, I can't tell. I think it's number 5, but literally right across the road from me, and it's well known, was the original owner that owned this home when I bought it. Why didn't someone pop across to her? Quite simple. I'm afraid Graham's pipes burst. Do you know where the stopcock is, please? We should have been able to tell them that. Rat? I mean, she could have in a way. I mean, that's for the police to substitute. Why? Because these people with my key that they conned out of, again, the Moray mental health lady, although she had permission to enter my home. That's the whole point. Could you just keep an eye on my home, mate, and not a lot, I don't put you out, but, I'll pay you some petrol money, about once every 2 weeks or something like that, just to make sure everything was all right? Because when I came home, the whole of the skirting board had been ripped out in my kitchen because the plumber, bless him, had, he did find it eventually. It's a bit awkward, but it's actually right in the corner of the kitchen, and the person who did it just cut a hole in the side of a cupboard, if you follow me. So to get to this stopcock, you've got to lie right down on your side, and I'm a big fat chappy, but I could do it, and shove your hand right in, and you can just feel it, and you can get to the stopcock. Okay. But anyway, there was this damage done, and he eventually found it. I'm told that the whole carpets will probably be ruined, but they're not, and they're not stinking now. I've kept the original carpet in the bedroom, no problem. There's a bit of a loose board in the shower room. Okay, so maybe the confines of the shower room, and apparently they could hear this leak. Well, let me tell you that it was in right